This week on Planet Internet, I am your host, Amy Tom. I am joined with David Smooke, the CEO of Hacker Noon, and I am joined by Hung, who does a little bit of everything at Hacker Noon, and nobody really knows what exactly she does, but she's in all of the pots, so here we go. This week on Planet Internet, we are talking about big tech and the crackdown that Biden just signed on big tech. We're talking about decentralization and the crypto movement and what that means for big tech as well. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you today. Here we go. I want to talk to you about this Verge article that was published a few days ago, yesterday, and it was by John Porter, and it's called Facebook Satellite Internet Team Joins Amazon. So basically the premise of this article is talking about how Facebook had this internet connectivity team that was focused on low orbit Earth satellites, and that was supposed to be competing directly with Elon Musk and Starlink. And then Amazon decided to acquire the team that was building this project for them. And so there was about a dozen employees that are moving from Facebook to Amazon for a quote unquote undisclosed sum as part of the acquisition. So yeah, apparently Amazon is now trying to compete with Starlink. David, did you hear about this before?
Yeah, I saw it on the internet.
Yeah, crazy, right? I wonder how many people will be, how many organizations will be competing into like this internet space connectivity thing, because if Amazon has just taken Facebook out, who is a major player, how many people are going to be left? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's wild to also think like this is a little sportsy and they're like acquiring players, and it's like
Yes.
an acquisition of a subsection of a company that's like 0.001% of Facebook. You know, it's a couple of super high value employees. And then it's like, where is the line of ownership? Jeff Bezos owns Blue Origin. He owns Amazon. They're both moving to space. Mm-hmm. Musk owns Starlink and Tesla. Like, did Facebook get those two to bid against each other for these engineers? Mm-hmm. There's like a little bit of, also, just seeing all this money makes me think of just how bullish these companies are to go to space. And they think they know more than us, and they think it's a little more realistic to start investing heavily in this right now of what type of businesses will be around space. So I really want to know how much they paid for this. What's your guess?
I know. I was going to say, I was going to ask Hung, knowing that Amazon says they plan to invest $10 billion to launch over 3,000 satellites. Mm-hmm. How much do you think that they acquired this dozen-person team for?
I mean, like, do we have any, like, information on whether, like, they just pay them to do what they do? Or do they actually acquire them? Because acquiring a team, it just requires a lot of, like, commitment, both, like, legally and technically and everything, you know? So, like, I would say that it's definitely no less than $10 billion. We just don't know. It can be
that.
Wait, they're investing $10 billion overall, and they're just gonna put it all into acquiring this team?
I mean, I don't know, because like.
All right, here, let me play a different scenario. Okay, here's what I think happened. Okay. These are very elite engineers, say making like, I would probably guess low seven digits, like $1 million, $2 million a year, stock options to maybe double that, something like that. And what happens is when 1, 2, and 3, and 4 start to leave, Facebook then approaches Amazon and say, hey, bro, that's my IP. That's my rights. You know, you can't just steal the whole team. And then they're like, oh, do you want to get sued? And they're like, no, I don't want to get sued. And they're like, okay, instead of going to court, let me sell you the whole squad and these terms of not being sued for building on this technology. So it didn't start from like approach and try and say, I want to hire 12 people at once. I'm sure it started from they got mad that they were poaching their employees, and they're basically reaching a compromise to stay out of court. That's how I read this story.
Okay,
then wait, so of the dozen-person team, how many people jumped ship prior to the official acquisition?
12.
Amazing. Okay, yeah. So speaking of big tech and
Wait, I have a question for Hug.
Oh, yes.
Is this between Amazon and Facebook, who is this better for the stock price for this deal?
I like Facebook better.
Do you like Facebook better, or will they have a better impact on the stock price?
Yeah, so like Facebook definitely have a better impact on my portfolio.
Okay.
I think I don't remember correctly. Let me pull up my Robinhood. That's like the only thing I have right now. But I believe like I gained around 80% when I bought Facebook, which is a lot. But I only gained around 40% when I bought Amazon, because Amazon like after I bought it, it went through like it went up in it like gradually, but like it has some up and down quarter. So yeah, and also like I don't like the way Amazon treats the employee, because like when you buy a stock, it doesn't just depend on like the financial report. It's so like I also buy the stock like based on how they manage the people. And I heard a lot of bad rap about Amazon, so I don't want to talk here for legal reason.
So to answer my own question, whose stock price does this help hurt the most?
Yeah.
Tesla and Starlink.
Yeah, I mean,
that's who it hurts the most.
Definitely.
Get some competition. They've made all their satellite goals very public too, with their number of satellites. So I think it's good. Get some competition. There's such a barrier to entry in the satellite business. It's like you don't just suddenly raise a seed funding and have 10 satellites in the air. It's like you have to have a lot of money to compete with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, with Facebook selling this team, they're effectively officially bowing out of the race.
Yeah, so I'm looking at stock price right now. Tesla is only down by 2.3%. Facebook, let's see. Facebook is down by almost 1% today. And Amazon is down by 1.4%. So what does the market tell us is that people don't think that Facebook and Amazon can compete with Elon Musk. So Bezos and Zuckerberg is nowhere.
Or these 12 people switching teams is just small potatoes of affecting those three.
Because like,
nobody cares.
You have a bunch of excellent engineers in the world. So like if these 12 people move out of the team, you have 12 more people elsewhere who is like just equally as talented.
Yeah, but Facebook's not going to start again.
We don't know what Mark Zuckerberg.
But don't you think that like when they sold that team, they probably sold like whatever IP as well that they were developing?
It could have went either way. They could have just salvaged the thing of just some sort of agreement of things they wanted to reduce the poaching.
I mean, it's all in the contract. I think like Facebook has a very good legal team. So like if like anything about the IP is hurt, Facebook is not gonna let that happen. I think Mark Zuckerberg is way smarter than that, but we never know.
Yeah,
I heard he grew up on space.
Who? Zuckerberg? Yeah, you see his meme, like you see like how he looked like an alien during his hearing in 2018. Yeah, Amy, can you pull that up? Try Mark Zuckerberg hearing 2018. Yeah, he looked like an alien. Try image. See?
Well, okay. You're right.
For those of you who are audio listeners, I can confirm we are looking at a picture of what appears to be an alien.
I mean, look at him.
Right in this photo, especially, he just looks a little bit like bug-eyed, right? Like spacey-eyed. I don't know.
I mean, okay, I don't want to like body shaming or like face shaming Mark Zuckerberg publicly.
Then don't. He's an alien. Be gentle. It's not nice. We look the way we look. We don't make fun of people. I think it's time that we stop.
All right.
Okay, but I don't even think this is what he really looks like. I mean, in other pictures that I've seen of him, I've never seen him in real life. But like in this photo, he does look especially like alien-like.
It really looks like this hearing scared the shit out of him, doesn't it? Like he just went completely
like he just
pale.
went completely white. Yeah, like he lost it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, what the hell going on? Okay, cool.
Well, speaking of hearings, of crackdown, so big tech. Let's move over to this BBC article that was posted last week, and it's about Biden signing the new order to crack down on big tech. So I know very little about what this actually means because I'm Canadian. And so I am trying to like understand like what this means in terms of like the future of big tech firms, the fact that he has signed this executive order that is aiming to crack down on them and to promote more competition. David, do you have any knowledge on like what this means from a business perspective?
Well, reading from the article, it's a little unclear what some of the details will mean, but the article says big tech has been accused of making killer acquisitions, essentially buying up competition, which they're very well known for. The irony here to me is, I would say the U.S. government makes killer acquisitions all the time. Like, look at the Louisiana Purchase. Like, that is a killer acquisition. And so I'm always a little bit on the side of the government is another business. And the more it tries to do good, sometimes it can have adverse effects. So I'm naturally skeptical. But the idea that it's very hard to compete and they're going to create more competition, unfair marketplaces are absolutely rampant. People driving traffic to their own marketplaces, moving their own services of neutral services and pretending to be a neutral ground. So there's plenty of areas where the government could step in and make it easier for more businesses to compete. But overall, like I'm still skeptical that this is more than political theater. And
Hung, do you think that this is going to have any kind of effect on small businesses in tech?
Well, I mean, like, it's just if it's ever come true, because the US is known for introducing a lot of bills, but most of them are never passed. So yeah. So I think like if this ever comes true, of course, like it will open more market entry to a smaller company. But that's like all I can say for now, because I'm not like an US citizen. So like I really don't know it for sure. But,
yeah, I find this confusing.
Yeah, from what I learned in business classes, and if my professor ever listens to it, I hope they will not take away my degree if any of it is wrong. But like, it can help some smaller business to get more like entry, like to get more market entry. But like about the competition, we don't know, because big tech is already like has the biggest advantage regarding to capital and reputation and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it may help, but it will not help like significantly.
The quote from Biden is, "Capitalism without competition isn't capitalism, it's exploitation." Yeah. So it has that political theater ring. It has strong sound bites. I don't know.
I mean, this is so unclear.
What does that mean?
This is so unclear.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting is that one of the things that they talk about in this article is that Biden was essentially like criticizing Amazon, but like not saying that it's definitely Amazon, but he was talking about dominant online retail marketplaces and how small businesses can sell products, and then
Amazon the satellite company?
Yeah, Amazon, the satellite company, the web service company, the delivery company, the everything company. Yeah,
we call them the company.
Yeah, the company, just the company. But he was telling how like Amazon uses the data from small businesses of what products sell the most and then just makes their own. So they launch competing products with the popular items that are selling on Amazon and try and take out small businesses. So I'm like, okay, yeah.
I have a question. So like, is this bill the same as the U.S. law? So like, I'm looking at a similar article. It's a U.S. lawmaker introduced bill targeting big tech, and literally there are 5 bills. There are 5 bills that they introduced in June. Yeah, Amy, Amy,
Yeah.
scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. Yeah, you see U.S. lawmaker introduce bill targeting big tech. Yeah, that's what I'm reading. So I don't know
Okay,
if like
yeah.
it's not like the same bill, but like they initially introduced 5 bills just to like cure compete. Like it basically like make it more difficult for company to cure competition and stuff. So I don't know.
You
Yeah.
know who has the most data? The people that are monitoring the rules of how to control data. So if the government's coming in and they're saying, "Hey, we're going to set the rules about how these companies can control and not control your personal data," I get a little skeptical of like, are they really the ones that have my best interest in mind?
Like, do you see the 4 CEO? I feel like they're gonna live in space soon. Like,
well, it says
so
these bills were drafted after a 16-month investigation into the powers of Amazon, Apple, Google, and Facebook. So, yes.
Real burn on Microsoft there, right? Not getting the list.
You don't count.
Joe Biden.
Sorry, you're not big tech anymore.
Nobody care about you. Like, honestly though, like I feel like this is not like serious at all. But like people, I feel like the U.S. government are like, hey, big tech, you don't need to gather people data. We have the FBI for that. So yeah, I think it just like gives the FBI more job of stalking people instead of like giving it to like private big tech. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
We will have to
Can we stop talking about the government? They're making me angry.
Yes, that is why we have to jump over to crypto. And so I want to talk to Hung about this crypto article that was posted on Hacker Noon. It's called "The Best Time to Buy Crypto Was a Year Ago. The Next Best Time to Buy is Right Now." That was posted by Crypto Badger. So do you agree with that, Hung, as a general statement?
I mean, I do because 2020 is the best time to buy any, like to get into any kind of investment. 2020 was like basically the Black Friday of stock and crypto.
Oh wow, okay. Super sale.
Yeah, super sale, you know. You just don't have to get in line.
Yeah.
Like
he says the prices skyrocketed to all-time highs and then crashed substantially over the past few weeks.
Yes. So you can jump in now, but like you don't have to like go all in into crypto. You can just go like little by little. That's what I'm doing right now because I'm more on the conservative side of things. So I think you can start buying now because it's bursting, but it will go back up. That's what I learned from investing. It go down, like you hit rock bottom and it just get better from there.
Okay, I have some questions about investing in crypto, about the logistics, which like maybe are going to be some dumb questions, but like probably other people don't know as well.
Yeah. I'm not
can I okay. Like when you say like a low amount, like I'm investing a low amount into crypto, like what does that mean in terms of like, I guess like percentage of your overall portfolio?
Well, I think one thing to bring up here is your age. So so I forget who made the rule of thumb, but one rule of thumb is basically you do 100 minus your age. And that's basically a rule of like, you can make that an asset class. So like the younger you are, the more you want risk in your asset class. So, and I don't know, no one really knows what the answer is, but you should definitely consider crypto in the volatile section of your assets in terms of, you know, what direction they could go. If you look at like a financial instrument, you know, like the 401ks and the EFTs or ETFs or whatever, any instrument, and then you look towards private equities and then you look towards crypto. Crypto is on the riskiness of more of the penny stocks, unless you're talking about premium crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum, then you can get into the graphs that you see comparing it to the S&P 500 and see how much better it's done for 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. So I think if there's and I think this is what this author's saying. He puts Bitcoin as its own class in its top, and it's, you know, over half of the entire crypto market, then Ethereum, and then 20 other altcoins. At least they have an ecosystem going and transactions happening. And beyond that, when you get to 0.5 with his small cap altcoins, it's just like penny stocks to me. And that's where it's really just picking out of a hat, and it could 100x and it could 0.
Yeah. Okay. But if I was going to invest, if I was going to invest in crypto right now as a first-time buyer or investor, I don't know how to ask this. Like, what's an appropriate amount to invest into this? I guess it depends on every person. Yeah.
It depends on like how much you have on your saving right now and how much like you are willing to
We should probably take this opportunity to confirm this is not investment advice.
No.
Yeah, this is not investment advice.
Nobody knows.
This is not.
Nobody knows anything
on
on
the
this
internet,
podcast.
and I cannot make that more clear.
Yeah. No.
Don't commit suicide because what you heard from us, okay?
Well, last time I was on this podcast, it was someone that put all of their 1.8 million into their own crypto trading bot, and his conclusion at the end, after he lost all of his money, was to just build another bot and do it again.
Yay!
Which is not our official financial advice either.
We don't do that here.
We actually have zero official financial advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody here is. I don't think anybody here is qualified to give like financial advice. But honestly, though, Amy, it depends on like first how much you are having in your saving and how many percent you are willing to invest in general, because like you can invest in gold and USDD and USD and stock and bond ETF and crypto. And it's also like how much risk you want to take. So like if you are a very risk averse person, you can only get like 5 to 10% of that total money that you are willing to invest into crypto and Bitcoin. But if you are more risk loving, it can go to like 30 or 40%. So it's really just boiled down to like personal reference. But for me, I'm still like I'm a stock girl. I'm not like a crypto girl. So like right now, crypto is only like 10 to 20% of my current portfolio, and I am happy with that. But if you are best friend with Osa, for example, you can ask him for some USDD advice, or like you can ask him like what crypto to buy.
Non-official advice.
Yeah, this is non-official advice.
Okay. I guess like my last question is like how to buy crypto. You via Robinhood you use?
No, I use Coinbase.
Well, don't forget Hacker Noon sponsor. Bybit.
Yeah, this is not a Hacker Noon sponsor.
Bybit.
Yeah, you can also buy via Bybit, but I know like a lot of people use Coinbase and Bybit. It's just you should have to like find a platform that you trust. You can also buy via Robinhood. Remember, like offer crypto like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, and don't lose your private keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is like the only two cryptos that I'm really interested in. So that's all I care about.
Yeah. All right, David, what do you think? Is now the time to go? Should I do it?
I mean, it has no effect on my life, so sure.
No, honestly, Amy, like remember last podcast that I also joined? We asked Link for like 5x our salary so he can start investing. It's time to bring it up with David again.
Oh, okay, yeah. Remember that time that we asked for 5x our salary on the podcast?
Pardon,
We're doing
what did
it
you
again.
say? I'm not recalling. Anyway, I think it's a good time to transition to the next article.
I think so too, because I would like to talk about the decentralization of the internet with the blockchain in mind. So I am throwing to this article on Hacker Noon again, and it's called Decentralization of the Internet, the Frontier of the Internet. So this article was by Nicholas Resendez. I finally have said his name right. I have said this wrong in the past, so hello. But he is talking about how the internet, like decentralization in the internet, he's talking about decentralization through blockchain, and about how I like what he wrote here. He said the decentralized internet under blockchain technology will allow storing information in different places instead of a centralized network. It's a diversified storage system that will prevent data from being erased by centralized networks or blocking users from access. So the components are an independent login system, an alternative way to store and access files, a peer-to-peer system, distributed computing, and decentralized money transactions. So as we move towards decentralization, I guess, David, do you think that blockchain will continue to have like a prevalence in like decentralization as a term or as like a concept?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he kind of highlights 5 projects at the end. If you want to take a look at his opinion of top open source ones, where he has Filecoin, OpenBazaar, DTube, couple others, Freeton.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right now too much of the hosting is just way too consolidated, and that is a very dangerous thing. That because the host has the power to take you down, the DNS has the power to take you down. So there's elements of around like if the community wants it up, that's a community decision and it stays up. And if versus one executive at one company decides this company is bad and they take them off the internet. So there's that side of it of like the motivation for the community to have things that serve themselves is always going to remain. I mean, I think the whole self-hosting dream, someone is going to nail right. And the idea that Netflix could be powered by the people watching it, and you use your leftover internet to serve as the hosting for all the other people streaming Netflix. Like someone I think will solve that in my lifetime, where you don't need servers and each one is operating as an individual peer. But I just haven't seen anyone successfully do it yet. I've seen, a lot of money thrown around, and I've seen it work for certain use cases. But the fundamental idea behind it, that the community has enough hosting power to host the community, I think is true, and someone will solve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hung, what are your thoughts on the decentralization movement?
Can I stay out of this because I don't want to like after David speech. I don't want to deep into that, but honestly, though, I think that is totally possible. Maybe it's not anytime soon because there's still like error and trial, and not many people are willing to try that out. But maybe I don't know, maybe in 100 years, we can see a different internet, a more decentralized internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that this was interesting. He put in a stat that said it was a Pew Research Center study, and it said 91% of Americans have already lost confidence and admit they have lost control over their personal information or how their personal information is collected online, which definitely fall into that category. I have zero control about how my personal information is being collected, whether it's via Facebook, Amazon, Google, whatever. I can't control. I can, but
fighting that could be in the short term, at least, more of that big tech government argument of someone, if a central entity comes in, they may actually be able to solve the problem sooner of penalizing all the bad actors here. And it's the long-term play is more of its own decentralized internet, the necessary evil that comes first.
But honestly, okay, I have a question here. If you don't, in one way or another, collect people data, Facebook, for example, it thrives on advertisement, right? So if they don't collect people data, how do they make money? How do they target the ad to the user, and how do they make money? So it's really, I don't know, because it doesn't sit well with me that a company are collecting information. And I actually during college I did a whole big ass paper about that. So I know you need to collect people information to make money, but where is the borderline? Which part it is right for you to just collect my name, my age, and my preference, to display the ad. For example, if I want a biker shot, next thing I know, my Facebook is all about biker shot. But of course, the line, where is the line? And
so as long as Facebook has your attention, they could switch business models at any time. When regulation comes up, the first thing Zuckerberg says is, I want to work with the government. And what he means is, I want to be the first one, when the law is changed, I want to be compliant and have my business set up to continue to make money in a better way. So that's how they look at it. I mean, when we faced the problem of how to monetize Hacker Noon, all of our content is public, so it's a little bit different than Facebook. But we reached the conclusion that it should be ads are placed by the relevancy to the content and not the actions of the user. Whenever you get to this story about an Ethereum project, it makes sense that another Ethereum project would be recommended as the ad, as opposed to saying because you were searching for shoes, you would want an ad for shoes, which is the Facebook approach to, the millionth degree of how much they know about us. So I guess I would say they could just replace the ads with just being less targeted. They could say, hey, this is the space for the ad. And we just based on the fact that you're like a human in Colorado, we have enough that we can place a billboard, as opposed to saying I'm David Smooke and I recently purchased a blue t-shirt. And maybe that means I want a green or a long sleeve t-shirt. So I don't know. That's
how much is too much?
Maybe you want a blue pair of shoes. Yeah,
definitely. All right. Well, that's it for the stories. Anybody have any new tech that they're interested in this week?
I always forget this part.
Same. Cool. Anyways, that was this week on Planet Internet.
I could drop a few new techs. We're interested in, no, I shouldn't say. We have some partnerships coming up, but I haven't said them on the record yet, so I shouldn't say them on this record.
So how about you, Amy? How about you?
Yeah.
I have actually been looking into some things, but I haven't made any purchases yet as of yet. So did some standing desk research the other day, thought about some new podcasting equipment, but nothing too exciting in the pipeline yet.
Check this out. I got a standing desk. This is it going up.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, there you go. Whoa.
I'm phasing out stage right.
Okay, this is David's transition out of the podcast, and it's also ours. So that was this week on Planet Internet. Thanks everybody for listening or watching. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe it. Produced by Hacker Noon, hosted by me, Amy Tom, and edited by our lovely audio wizard, Alex. Stay weird. See ya on the internet. Bye-bye.
Peace.